Hello, this is Shaheen over at Webupon, and this is episode number 5 of Chalk Talk Thursday. Today we're going to cover something that I love, how to write really good, damn good title tags. As is my custom, I'm going to start off by talking about a little bit of the contention here with title tags and whether or not they still really matter, and then I'm going to get into how you should think about title tags as headlines, as brand ambassadors, and then we're going to break down how to really assess your title tags, where they are, and how to optimize them further. So, just to start off here, a pretty common question I get, and something that's sort of just floating around, is do title tags still matter? I think it's a fair question, but at the end of the day, when you look at it from the sort of reverse position as far as Google's concerned and as far as customers and you as the business owner is concerned, you can still destroy your rankings with a bad title tag. So if I can get in there and change my title tags on a page that's ranking number 1 and get it to rank number 4, 5, or 6, or whatever it may be pretty quickly there, that should let you know that despite other technical factors and perhaps your brand recognition, you can still really do a lot of damage with title tags. So in my mind, they still do matter. A few things to think about here, and really at the end of the day, I think this is driven by the fact that there are developers who've sort of view SEO as an amorphous, not legit process, like there's not enough skill set in there, and that's a pretty fair critique, right? There's a lot of shady SEOs out there, but in 2019, when you hire an SEO agency, you're getting someone that has experience working within the SERP and really getting more revenue for your business. I wouldn't be an SEO if I couldn't make my clients more and more money over time. And the fact that people don't think SEO is legitimate is great for me, right? Because that just means that everyone else is less competitive. So, there's that component to it. There's also just the fact that if you hire any SEO, you're going to be getting someone that has this technical knowledge, but they also have experience with CRO, they have experience with content marketing, and they're really assessing the entire funnel from top to bottom. We're looking at search queries not as keywords, but as parts of topical areas, and we're looking at them as opportunities to understand the customer as they're coming in. So it's really psychographics applied to how is our specific target customer, Kathy, who's 27 from Omaha, how is she shopping on the site? And that's really how we're using these title tags, right? So the first question you gotta ask yourself is, how bad are your title tags? If you have terrible title tags and there's no keywords that actually match up to the page for the term that you wanna rank for in your title tag or anywhere else on the page, the fact is that even as smart as Google is in 2019, you're just not gonna rank. It's not gonna happen. The second thing I will think about is how good's your site, generally speaking. So, a lot of issues can arise from the fact that you really can't get around a poorly designed site or a bad customer experience, something that looks dated, something that people won't trust. There's no amount of technical optimization you can bring into that picture and actually get it to perform at the end of the day, just because it's not good. No one wants to interact with it. Google's not going to send people there because if we can't send people there, if it's not a good result, then we can't sell ads against it, right? We have to think about Google as a company and what their goals are and always be working backwards from that situation, right? This is principle number 1 as far as I'm concerned when it comes to advanced SEO. The third thing you should be asking yourself, right, is this question, title tags don't matter. I can show you all these large-scale ranking studies where they look at millions of keywords and there's just no math behind it. In my mind, this is really a correlation versus causation problem. Even though it's anecdotal, it's an N of 1. Well, I'm one person, but I have thousands of title tags that this has been applied to, and we've seen growth there. You should really be considering the fact that, any website that's massive, that's an Amazon or a Home Depot, any large site that may be in your niche is going to have the advantage of more brand recognition, they're going to have the advantage of stores, and they're going to be able to have pretty crappy technical SEO. And the fact is that anyone that's a smaller competitor in a market, a smaller business, needs to optimize every single possible thing they can to get an edge. So a good title tag is going to help you get that edge. And that really just answers the question. Do title tags still matter? Yes. Are they the solve-all for all the problems you may have on the site? No, absolutely not. There's still going to be technical problems. You're still going to have to think about how your brand interacts with other people, and you're really going to have to think about the fact that your site isn't just technical SEO. There's way more to it. You have customers, and you need to work with those customers to show them something that they want to see. So the reason why I love title tags so much is because it's relatively cheaper compared to other tactics you could use on a site to influence rankings. If I come to a site and it's poorly designed, it's relatively hard to build 100 backlinks in a month. Something we can do over a year, but it's just not going to happen very quickly. So title tags, as they exist on the organic SERP, until the day where there's no organic searching, it's just all paid, you can still influence how people are clicking. You can still get reception from real humans that are clicking through. And title tags are really just headlines. They're advertising headlines, and hopefully they can be had for the cheap compared to these AdWords, the whole Google Ads ecosystem. So you need to think about title tags as headlines, as quality advertising copy, and really the ambassador for your brand on Google, and also these can get used on social networks as well. So you have to be thinking about the whole alignment of the brand and not just the sales, but obviously we're just trying to drive sales at the end of the day, right? So the first thing I'll say here is, as far as any good title tag goes, you need to include some keyword, right? If you find yourself not ranking, it's probably because you're not using the keyword that you want to be ranking for in the title tag. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to rank for it, but you got to mention it somewhere, right? The second thing to think about with title tags is, at the end of the day, it's really all about CTR, right? If you look at the modern SERP, I just typed in office chair, right? So you have Google Shopping right here, which is this nice little carousel of products, and I'll talk about this more in a second, right? And then you also have ads. Fun fact, I was running this a second ago, and because I have an international client, I was still on a German server, and they don't have this extra little ad bit there, so we just get tons of ads in the US, which is, it is what it is. And then you actually have your organic listings down here, right? You have 6 organic positions, and then you have a map. This is really what a modern SERP looks like, right? This is what a modern search engine results page looks like. On a cell phone, this is gonna be one thumb scroll right here, and this is gonna be another thumb scroll. You're really fighting for attention. It's very difficult to really get users to see you on the SERP at this point. So you want to be thinking about the fact that my title tag is basically an advertisement. It's an entree into the brand. It gives users an opportunity to click in and start interacting with you. And it's just getting harder and harder every day, which is why we need to get better and better at it every day as we progress, right? So the third thing I'll say is, as a general rule of thumb, you want to make sure you have at least 1 or 2 keywords in your title tag. Any more than that, and you get the old school typical SEO title tag, which is, office chair, chairs for office, red office chairs, chairs for cheap, chairs for sale. No one wants to click on that. Google's not going to rank it in most cases. So you want to just use 1 or 2, and then from there think about the fact that, how do I get my customer, how do I get Jan, how do I get Mike, the people that I sell to every day, to actually click on this title tag? The fourth thing I'll say is, as a general sort of strategy tip, I think on large sites you want to be programmatic. So if you have 15,000 title tags on a massive e-com store, this is actually one of my favorite things to do. You want to get in there and you want to actually fix title tags in bulk. If you're on a smaller site, let's say you only have 30 pages and it's a lead gen site, you want to think about them one by one. And then just generally speaking, you always want to be focusing on the pages that are already ranking, right? Focus where, if you're 4th, think about getting to 1st. If you're 10th, thinking about getting to 6th or 5th, right? But if you're not anywhere, then you need to sort of start getting towards the top 10, and that will actually get you traffic, right? If you're 1 or 2, you're gonna get so much more traffic than in any other position. You're gonna get seen by most people. You're gonna get that nice brand exposure. But if you're 7th, or 10th, or 14th, you're hardly ever gonna get seen these days, unfortunately. And that's just the reality, right? So the 5th thing I'll say is reduce cannibalization. This is an excellent rule of thumb right here. So on a large site, typically what I'll see is you'll basically get 100 title tags where the first 2 keywords are exactly the same keyword, right? So I was, not to call anyone out, but I was looking at Dakine's site the other day, right? So it was like men's outdoor hoodie, down for 300 columns, right? All men outdoor hoodie, great, we get it. And then it's red XL, red large, red medium, red small, brown large, browns, on and on and on. Not a lot of variation. And when Google sends a user to that site, when Google's crawling it as a bot, it's basically saying, wait, which page is what? Which one do I care about the most? Because you're not optimizing for anything, you're not spoon feeding the right answer to Google, you're really not getting anywhere, right? this is an issue that is basically called cannibalization. You're making 100 pages basically target the same keyword, and what you really want to be doing is when someone actually types in, I need a medium brown sweatshirt, or I need a large yellow and red outdoor ski pant, that you're popping up because you're so specific that Google is basically able to determine that that page is hyper-focused on that keyword. If I'm just saying ski pants, well then the use case is really just send me to a top-level category page because I don't know what I want. I want to see hundreds of ski pants, right? That's really how Google's working, and that's the situation that you need to be optimizing in. So again, rules of thumbs here. When we think about CTR, we want people to click on us. We want to include 1 to 2 keywords. I'm sorry, but in most cases, if you're not optimizing a page for some keywords, you're probably not going to rank for it unless you benefit from having a massive backlink profile or huge brand recognition in the space. And that's why SEO works, right? It's these little tweaks where we can get people to just move from the 7th position up to here, and maybe from the 6th position to the 3rd, and then the 1st, and then we get more and more and more market share. That's what we're really after here. So let me just break down how to think about your current rankings, and that will then tell you how you should go about rewriting title tags as you proceed. So I like to break this down into 4 main quadrants. SEMrush does this as well, and I'm sure other tools make it pretty easy for you to look at your keyword rankings in this exact manner. So the very first category is the 1 to 3, right? The first, the second, the third, and I'll even say the 0 ranking with the search snippet. That's the very, very top. That's where you're gonna see most of the traffic. Generally speaking, if someone's going beyond the top 3 results, they're probably not finding what they want in those results, so you're probably selling something a little weirder. That's a different play, and we can talk about that another time. Or the 4 to 10. This is where you will see some traffic, especially on desktop, but you're really not going to be in play on mobile. And at this point, I view 4 to 10 as aspirational for 1 to 3. In my world, 2 years ago, it used to be good to be in the top 10. You used to be able to get some pretty decent traffic, but at this point, everything to me is just spit and distance until you're in 1 to 3, because once you're in 1 to 3, you're actually going to get some traffic, you're actually going to get some revenue, and that's where you want to focus on. And then there's the 11 to 20 and the 21 through 50. So this is page 2 to 3, and then beyond that, essentially. So here you're in worse off shape than the 4 to 10, right? You're either just completely off base and you're not going to be able to target anything, or you just haven't optimized it all and you have a variety of issues. So let's break this down a little bit. Let's go and look at the SERP again, right? So here you got shopping ads. That's not good for us SEOs, right? And we got ads here. So again, this is probably around a thumb scroll or more on mobile. And then we start having organic rankings right here, right? So this is probably what we're looking for. There are a few different things that you really want to be exploiting in this situation, right? So you probably want to make sure that the keyword you want to rank for is in the first couple words here. Very specific again. We want to be very, very specific and precise with how we're targeting. You probably want to make sure that you have this, primary keyword and a secondary keyword that you want to rank for in there. And you probably want to make sure that Google is bolding a few of these terms. I'll get into meta descriptions because I think that's an entirely different art that deserves its own video. But, you want to be focused on these things. So in the 1 to 3 range, this is where you're going to get most of the traffic, right? So if you're 2 and you're 3, you want to be thinking about CTR. You want to be thinking about what words can I include in here that are going to get my users to click far more often so I can jump ahead of everyone else. You're going to be thinking about CRO and dwell time. When people get to my site, are they finding what they want quickly? Are they not getting confused? Are they staying on my site a long time, especially if it's content or if it's a product? And really at the end of the day, are we selling anything, right? So you want to be thinking in that way also, because it's not just about rankings, it's really about sales. And then you want to be thinking about customer fit. So if you find yourself number 3 and you just can't get out of it, if it doesn't feel like something that you're ever able to get out of, that you're just stuck there, you want to really be focused on asking yourself, am I hitting the things that my customers really care about with this page? Am I getting them to click? Am I covering the product in a way that they like? Are they interested in it? Or are they just bouncing out and going down further in the list or going back to number 1 and number 2? That's what's really going to hamstring you from better performance over time. If you're in the 4 to 10 range, and this SERP for office chair, right? We got shopping carousel, we got ads traditional, and then we actually have a map pack, which is even better, right? So being in the top 10 here really means that we got to be in the top 6, and then maybe we're going to be we're going to be the last 3 or 4 on the bottom. It's not ideal. It's really not good. By the time people are here, they're probably looking for office chair right now, and even if you're Amazon, that's going to be pretty hard to procure. So if you're in the 4 to 10 range or the 4 to 6 range in this situation, and just keep in mind, given mobile, given where Google's going, how are they going to squeeze more profit out of the actual platform, right? It's just going to be harder and harder to get at this organic spacing, right? So if you're in the 4 to 10, it's essentially the same thing. You want to be thinking about CTR. You want basically getting people to click. You want to be thinking about CRO, the quality of the experience on the actual page. And then I would say you want to be thinking about backlinks, right? Technical SEO. Have I done everything? Have I built enough backlinks? Generally speaking, in the 1 to 3 range, you'll actually see that there can be a disparate allocation of backlinks essentially. So, there may be an authority that's ranked forever, and that's what's going to be number 1 or number 2. And there's other people like Amazon that has 1 million backlinks, but they might be number 3. And then number 1 might be a site with a decent amount of backlinks, sort of above the norm, but they also have a really great title tag, or they're really well known in that specific industry. So everyone else down here, if you're in the 4 to 10, you probably should assess whether or not you need to be doing the work on the technical side to build more backlinks there so you can actually perform. But that's just sort of what you're left with, right? So if you're in the 4 to 10, you want to be thinking about the same things, right? It's all about this customer experience, but you also want to be saying, okay, are there actual technical SEO issues that I need to solve for? Why am I stuck down here? How do I get in the 1 to 3? And thinking about it in this way is really the way to reverse engineer it as far as I'm concerned. And then if you're in the 11 to 20 or the 21 to 50 range, you're basically trying to get onto page 1. You're trying to get into this coveted spot, the top 10, the top 7, the top 6, whatever it may be, given the constraints of the actual Google result page, right? So if you're here, you want to be thinking about keywords and backlinks. You probably want to be thinking about CRO in general, sort of audience fit, quality of the site. If you're at 11 to 20, that's typically a pretty good achievement, I'll say also, right? So if your niche is more competitive, even though you're way down there, it's probably fair that you could rank in the top 10. You just have some work to do. And then if you're in the 21 through 50 or even all the way up to 100, we have a ton of work to do. Generally, that means that you're either not targeting the keywords that you want to be ranking for anywhere on those site pages, or you're just not an authority as far as Google is concerned, which is probably the worst situation to be in, right? So if your primary service is something that you can't rank for, you can't even rank in the top 5 pages, that's a pretty bad spot to be in, right? So you probably have some content marketing work to do, some site copy work to do, some general SEO work to do, and just presence. And really at that stage, you probably just want to be spending aggressively on AdWords and just getting out there and basically making calls, because you're so far away from where you want to be that it's always going to be a problem. The other thing I'll say too is if you find yourself stuck in the 21 to 50, you might want to think about niching down. It may just be an issue that you're targeting something way too broad. I sell 100% linen sweatshirts with the finest New Zealand wool stuffing inside of them, and they're the greatest sweatshirt ever, but I can't rank top 10 even though I make the best product. Well, there's probably some keywords, luxury, sweatshirt, or whatever it may be. There's probably other keywords that you should niche down on where you can actually perform well, because to the average consumer out there who wants to see 1,000 sweatshirts, you're just never going to be anywhere on their map. So that is my breakdown for how to write damn good title tags in 2019. If you have any thoughts or you have further questions or you think I'm crazy, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to discuss this further.